In this video, I want to show you how to calculate beta. We're going to do 5-year rolling betas, and here's our data, and we have tons of it. I also want to make sure as I'm doing this, the spreadsheet looks neat. So I'm going to view, freeze panes, freeze the top row. Now when I go to the bottom, this is what I have. So this is the return from Microsoft for these dates. The VW is a value-weighted return for the entire market. The EW is an equally weighted return for the entire market. So I'm going to do Control-Shift over and down, then Control-Shift exclamation point, and that gives me the number format. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. The number format, and then I can add some decimals. So I want to insert a pivot table, so I can be anywhere in this data. And if I go to Insert Pivot Table, it will select the contiguous data. Click OK. I'm now in this sheet, and I'm going to name things as I go. So I'm going to name this Pivot Table. I name these as I go because I don't want sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. I don't know what's there. So if I go take the date, put it in the row, and it gave me automatically our quarters and years. I don't want that. It's not always going to give you that. It just kind of depends. Then the ticker, then return. But I don't want this grouped by month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click just on any one month in here. It doesn't matter which one. Right click and ungroup. And now I have everything ungrouped. You can see down to the bottom. I have all this. I'm going to copy, not the entire thing. If I copy the entire thing, I'll get a pivot table. I'm going to copy just this part of it. Control C. Go to a new tab. Control V to paste. I'm going to rename this Sorted Data. Alright. Now I have my data sorted. The first thing I want to do is Control down arrow key and get rid of this grand total row. So Control minus, and not with the mouse but with the arrow keys, go to entire row, hit OK, and Control back to the top. I don't need these two rows right here, so Shift and down to highlight both of them, and Control minus and get rid of those entire rows. And I want to label things. Actually, I want to have I need an additional blank row right there for later. Forgot about that. Call this date. I want to format these. Control Shift over and down. Control Shift exclamation point. Add a couple of decimals. Come right, and maybe right here. View, freeze panes. Instead of freezing the top row, I'm going to freeze the panes, and then it gives me this. So that's locked in, right? And now I can see what's in the column heading. I want to make these columns the right width, so I just highlight the columns, select the columns, and where the white cross becomes a black cross, double click, and that's the minimum width. This is going to show me everything I need. I don't have the market in here though. I need the market data. I just have the stocks lined up the way I want them, but not the market. So I go back to my pivot table, Control page up, Control page down will move me, as you can see, across the tabs to my right, and Control page up will move it to my left. So now in this pivot table, notice if I'm out of the pivot table, this pivot table fields list disappears, and when in the pivot table it reappears. So I don't want the returns in the values anymore, so uncheck them. I want to have the market, so I can drag this down to there, or what's quicker, if I just check it. So if I check the box, Excel's going to guess what I want, and yeah, it put it in the right place. So notice these are all the same number in the row. So just look at these first few numbers right here. I'm just going to copy those, Control C, and then Control page down to my original data. Control page down again. These numbers, whoops, I'm in the wrong spot. Put it right here. These numbers are the exact same as those numbers. What I have, this is the market. So this is not the returns for GE like the column heading says. That's returns for the market, because I have the market returns in the values. So I need to copy those. I'm going to copy the date too. Shift over with the arrow key, Control Shift down arrow key, Control C, Control page down, and I want to be right here, Control V to paste. Control page down, Control minus to get rid of that row. Now I copied the dates over to make sure they matched up. They do match up. So Control minus, get rid of that entire column. Come right here, call this the market. Control shift down, Control shift exclamation point. A couple more decimal places. Now I have this set up the way I like it. I want to call these returns, so I'm just going to type returns right here. I highlight this entire area, go to alignment, the horizontal, center across selection, and I have it. So I'm going to copy, highlight this, Control C, come right here, Control V, call this my betas. Now I'm ready to calculate my betas. And I want to have 5 years. I want to have 5-year rolling betas. That's what I'm trying to calculate. Why 5 years? Because I said so. I mean, there are other reasons than that, but that's a common way to do it. So I need to use the slope function because beta is slope. So equal slope. Go down with the tab. Down arrow key, then tab I should say, period. Control up. Go down. Comma. Give me my known x's, which is a market, period. Control up. Now I want to copy this over. I want the market to stay the same. I want the stocks to change. And I want the dates to change. So since I want the market, since I want the stock to change, I don't lock down the column B because I want to go to column C, D, E, F, etc. I don't lock down the row because I'm going to copy this down. And I always want 5 years worth of data. So now this is 5 years, 2007 to 2011. That's 5 years worth of data, whether you believe me or not. And here, I'm going to lock down by pressing F4. It puts dollar signs in front of row and column. Press F4 again, just row, F4 again, column, and that's what I want. And I'll show you why. So when I copy across, copy down, Control Shift exclamation point, formats it. And so what's happened, so I can come here and press F2. I've copied across the columns, going to Coke, so this is Coke, kept market the same, but I let the row change because I have now the new date, so I've updated. So what's happening, and I'm going to hide some cells here so it's easier to see what's going on. So I'll highlight, I don't know, this should be enough, probably right there. Hide that. So if I click right there, F2, you can see what's happening. I'm moving down. I was right here, and every time I've moved down, it drops the old month and adds the new month. So a couple things about the copying. So when I copied this, see if I get, just undo this. So I did a bunch of Control Z's to get back to the original spot. If I copy this down, I can double click. See when the white cross becomes black, double click, copies all the way down. Where does it stop? It stops where there's no longer data to the left. As I'm facing it, no longer data to the left. Excel's guessing how far you want to copy. That's the reason I didn't have a blank column here, because if I had a blank column, it wouldn't copy at all. If I go across like this, and then try to copy down, it won't do it. So Control Z, Control Z. So what you want to do is copy. You have to drag this across, then double click down, then format it, and now you have it. So the next thing I want to do is graph this. So Control Shift down, across, and down arrow key, and I want to have that show up right about here. I go to Insert, and I want to have one of these charts. So I want a line graph. I can click right here, All Charts, Line, and oops, this is the one I want right there. Click OK. There it is. It's very messy. I'm not going to try to get that any neater right now, but at least you've graphed it to that point. So that's it. Hopefully this will help.